What's poppin', y'all? Russ is back. He's making moves again. He's making noise again. And I'm going to TLDR it for you guys. So the TLDR, too long didn't watch or too long didn't read. Yeah, TLDW, whatever, is that Russ recently released an album. He put a lot of time and preparation into the rollout. He was selling vinyls. I think they were signed vinyls. Either way, he was selling vinyls for the album, people that bought physical copies, and it would count towards his album sales. So his album sold, I think, around like 10,000 or so, maybe 11, not sure exactly, from streaming. And then it was supposed to do another 40 to 42,000 in vinyl, which is insane. Like 42,000 selling vinyls in a week? That's a lot. Well, I mean, there's preparation and people buy it either way before the actual week starts. So what happened is he was projected to sell around 52K, 51, 52K, and what happened is they updated the projections later on, and I think he ended up selling around 46, and he felt he was slighted in that they took away 5 or 6,000 of his pure sales for whatever reason, and he was upset by that. He's like, hey, I'm independent. I'm kind of like trying to lead this movement, because he really is the face of independent artists right now. Like someone that went, not mainstream, but someone that had hits, someone that's doing it at the top. I don't think there's anybody that's doing independent bigger right now other than Chance, but Chance hasn't really been that active. We haven't seen much from him. So he's kind of the face of all these other upcoming artists. Every independent artist pays attention to him. Now, I have to preface this by saying this is all promotion. So even if Russ understands, and I'm sure he understands why they did this to him, he gets the game, but he says, instead of, let's just say he chalks it up and he's like, yeah, you know, that's the game, I'm gonna just keep it pushing. Well, that doesn't really benefit him, does it? Now, if he goes on social media and talks about it and says, yo, these big labels are screwing me, the man is not out here to take me down, but I'm fighting against this Goliath, this is a David versus Goliath type thing, and my movement, my team, my fans, and all the independent artists out there and their fans, we're fighting against this giant that's not even allowing me the sales that I genuinely got from people actually purchasing my album, which I feel like he's worth getting his credit for that. If people buy the actual physical copy, they bought the actual physical copy. This wasn't even, I don't even think this was a merch thing. They actually just straight up bought the vinyl. And this is where people say, oh, well, he sold 42,000 in vinyl, or however much they ended up updating it to. Yes. That embarrasses a lot of these rappers right now. Because, for example, I think Quavo, did Quavo just drop an album? Or am I tweaking out? I think he just dropped an album, sold like 30-something K. I'm looking it up as we speak. Yeah, it was August 19th, and it was projected to sell like 27, 32K or so. I think it sold 33K. Now, that's with all the streams, and they're cooking those numbers. Nobody talked about this Quavo album. I don't even know what the album cover looks like. Regardless, he dropped that album. Do we think, for example, like a Trippie Redd or a Quavo, their fans would buy this much vinyl? Like 40,000+ copies? Hell no. No, they wouldn't. So we got to give Russ credit for that. Now, if he talks about this, it gets him more promotion to his album, to his movement, and people check out his stuff more. So even if he understands and gets the game, he's playing a part in the game, and he should play a part in the game of going against them publicly to rally his fans even more and to gain new fans, because this guy spent a ton. I mean, this rollout was really cool. He did a lot of different cool things. Someone even posted I think it was an IG reel or a TikTok or something explaining it. He spent a ton of money on the rollout. It only makes sense he continues to promote it, and this is a way to promote it. Now, where I kind of have to push back a little bit is, remember when there was the conversation about is Tory Lanez blackballed, and Academics was talking about on stream, and he agreed that Tory Lanez was blackballed, but Russ went on there and kind of fought the point, which was, oh no, Tory Lanez isn't blackballed because he's allowed to have his music on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all these other platforms. Just because they're not playlisting you and giving you these rights, I guess, or these privileges, doesn't mean you're blackballed, which there is a point to make there, but I just didn't think it was in Russ's best interest for his movement to kind of say that. Like, if he said Tory Lanez was blackballed, then he can just leverage that to himself and be like, hey, you know, they're holding me back. Because right now, he's kind of saying they're holding him back or they're doing him dirty, but he didn't afford Tory Lanez that same compassion. I guess you could say, which is what it makes me look at him like, come on, man. You're not getting screwed nearly as hard as Tory was getting screwed when this was all going on. I mean, like, Tory's monumentally screwed now, but that has nothing to do with his music. So for Russ, I'm really impressed with how he's been able to outsell all of these other rappers that have been dropping. I mean, we're counting his numbers, man. I think he did legitimate numbers. I don't think he cooked the books at all, because how people fake these sales is they usually have inflated streaming numbers from streaming farms or whatever else, and then their physical sales aren't that high. Like, Russ has been preparing this album and this rollout meticulously for months. Maybe, definitely for many months. So he's coming at Billboard and he just exposes how, let me just explain to you guys a little bit. So he's basically saying Billboard and Luminate. Billboard is who gives you the charts. Luminate is Nielsen. I think academics already explained this. I don't know. I just saw the title of the video, didn't watch it. But pretty much these guys are in bed with each other. They're collaborators. Maybe some company owns the other. I don't think their intention is to screw Russ over, but this is all a big game. This is all just a game of engagement and a game of promotion. And I think if these guys gave Russ his sales, it would be worse for him, because if he got his sales, he did 52K, right? How much different is that from doing 46 or 47 in terms of people just looking at the number? Not that much, as opposed to like 100K. Like, let's say Russ did 100K first week and went #1. I don't even know if the person that went #1 did that high. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this guy went crazy. Zach Bryan, I think that guy went crazy. Travis Scott has also been going crazy. So for Russ, it wouldn't do that much of a difference, and then the week would pass and pretty much only his fans would know that he dropped. But now that this obstacle comes into play, now everyone's paying attention to it. Me, for example, I mean, I would have listened to Russ's album either way. I haven't listened to it yet. I listened to the first song. I've got a flight tomorrow, tomorrow when I record this. Probably when I drop this, I would have already been on the flight. So I'm going to listen to it then. I would have listened to it regardless, but I wouldn't have talked about the album had this not happened. So now I'm talking about it, academics is talking about it, all these other people are talking about this conflict between Russ and Billboard and these people that count the albums or are screwing him, or what he's saying, screwing him out of sales that he earned. Now we're promoting Russ, his brand, and his album even more. More people are going to follow him. More people are going to tune in. So kind of everyone benefits from this. I kind of feel like secretly Russ is frustrated, but it's kind of like, damn, Russ needs someone to fight against. If Russ was afforded all of the luxuries, let's say maybe he was on a major record label again and he was getting radio play and we saw his face everywhere and it was kind of like The Weeknd or Dua Lipa, I don't know how he would exist in that type of scenario. He's kind of always put himself in an underdog position. So if he's at the top and he's just getting smash hits and #1s and global and all that, I don't know if his brand would hold up in the same way. I think his fans wouldn't care. Like, they'd be happy that he finally got to the top. But that is something I wonder if he thinks about. Like, if he was the #1 artist in the world, right? Or not in the world, but you guys know what I mean. If he was a superstar with all the privileges of all these other artists, would he enjoy it as much? Because now he's kind of feels, it's like he's a soldier, right? Metaphorically speaking. He's like a soldier at this war of independence. And there's got to be obstacles, or there's got to be enemies and new battles. And if all the battles are over and you won, it's kind of like, oh, well, the war is over now. What do we do next? So and there's always been something in front of him, or something that he's told us has been in front of him. So I think it's really cool to see this happen. Now, did I want him to lose his sales? No. I think 50-something K looks cooler than 46K, but realistically, he's still getting paid the same from this, and this benefits everyone involved. It's not like Billboard or these other guys are going to come out and say, or send a representative to speak on their behalf and be like, hey, you know, Russ wasn't right about this, because this is so minute in the scale of how many albums they're tracking on a regular basis. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.